Okay, so I was teaching in Switzerland. I did 3 summers there, and I think this was my 2nd summer. And you know, you go overseas and you're in just a completely different place. I was working at a boarding school there. And so leaving my home, at the time I was living in LA, and so I left LA. You leave all your friends that you know and all the people you know and the life that you know behind and go to this other place where everything is different and you don't know anyone until you do, and then you find amazing new friends that way. The point of the story is I smoked pot from time to time, but in Switzerland I obviously didn't have pot with me. And maybe that's not obvious, but I didn't. And so it had been a couple months, you're there the whole summer, right? And I had caught wind that somebody there knew how to get pot. And I was like, well, okay. Give me details. And so one of the people working there was able to get some. And so this was a guy that I don't know that well. It was just like I had seen him around campus and you know, it's like wave too, just because we're all friendly people. But that was about it. That's how much I knew of this guy. And so someone got us in touch, and he was like, yeah, just go to his place. So I was just it was my day off, and I was just walking to his place. I was like, hey man, like I heard. He was like, yeah, come on in. And so he had stuff, and he gave me some, paid him. It was a nice transaction. And he's like, but hey, you know, I have a joint. You want to smoke now? And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. It's my day off. So he's like, well, take you to my like spot that I go, and it's kind of like, you know, it's illegal. So we had to like go to this woody part and trees and kind of just like hang out in this cool spot. In the pines, yeah, very peaceful. And so here I am, like about to smoke a joint for the first time in months. And for those of you that don't smoke, if you don't smoke for a long time, your tolerance drops. And so it had been a very long time since I'd smoked, and we started lighting up, and it was like, okay, here we go. So we're just chatting, mostly about like, so what's school like for you? Like, we don't work in the same department, blah, blah. But we're sharing this joint, and I'm getting higher as the conversation goes on, and I'm having a really good time. I'm really enjoying this conversation, and I'm really enjoying meeting somebody new. Like, this is a person I don't know, and here we are, like talking like we're friends, and that's actually one of the amazing things that pot can do for people. But, as I'm getting higher, I guess I'm not even realizing that I'm getting higher. What I'm actually getting is more engrossed in the conversation, more engaged, and kind of more open and free. And I'm just like, man, I'm really enjoying this conversation. So we finish up the joint, and we smoked the entire thing. Again, mind you, no tolerance at this point. And we just downed this thing, and so I don't know if it was a half an hour or an hour, because time's irrelevant. And he was like, I want to take you to my favorite spot. And so we go down, and it's like this little fountain with fishes, and you know, it was a beautiful place, because it's Switzerland. And we go down to the fountain, and it is beautiful, it's a beautiful spot, but all of a sudden I get like this weird feeling. And I was like, I feel strange, and kind of that you know, that experience where maybe you're standing in front of a crowd of people doing something that you wouldn't normally do, and you kind of just feel your whole body is kind of electric, and not because you're electrocuted, but you're just like alive. It was that moment, but the moment was accompanied by me feeling like disconnected. And suddenly I didn't feel well. And so I had to I hunkered down. I literally went to my knees and kind of just like, had to gather my thoughts. And my stomach was going crazy. And I was like, what is this feeling that I'm having? And then I realized, you know that feeling you get when you know you're supposed to kiss somebody? It was that like, this is the moment, oh my God, like, oh God, oh my God. And my mind was racing because I couldn't understand what I was feeling or thinking. And so I was on the ground, and remember, we're really high, so I kind of look at him to see if maybe it was bad pot or something, I don't know. And he's just like looking at the fish, like clueless. And so I was like, okay. And it really, suddenly my mind became loud, and it said, that's what this is. And I looked at him and I was like, I'm not attracted to him, but I feel like I'm supposed to kiss him. And so I was like, gathered my thoughts, I stood up, tried to catch my breath, and I looked and he seemed really normal, so I just wanted to gauge if this was something that was just happening to me, or if like we both were having a moment that we weren't talking about. And so I like looked at him, and he kind of looked at me, and then we just looked at the fountain, and he was like, fucking fish, right? And I was like, yeah, no, though. That's not what I'm thinking about. I didn't say that out loud. In my head, I'm going, I don't know if he's playing this off, or... Because like, I've done this with females, too, where I've been like, this is the moment, and I fail, and I don't do anything. We've all had that moment. Well, I couldn't control myself, and I had to know if what I was feeling was a genuine thing or not. And so I was thinking, what can I say to bring this up without making it insanely awkward? And he then started to walk away. He was like, all right, let's go. And I was like, oh my God, I can't let this moment pass without finding out. And so I'm walking, looking at his heels, going, Paul, just say something. Say the least weird thing you can possibly think of to get this point across. And I said, hey, wouldn't it be weird if I said I wanted to kiss you right now? And he was like, yeah? And kept walking. And I was like, okay. And that was the entire conversation until we get out to the street where he's going back to his house and I'm going to go back to my house. And so we kind of get there and it's like, all right, thanks. And he left. And that was the end of that moment. But me, I was all of a sudden on red alert, and I was walking 10 minutes back to my house going, oh my God, I think I'm gay. Oh my God. Oh, I think I'm coming out to myself. And I don't understand what this feeling is. And on the whole way home, I got on my phone and I was like voice journaling because I had to talk to somebody. And I was like, okay, so I don't know, like you felt it, and like he didn't say anything, and like blah, blah, blah. And so I'm going on, and I go back to my house, and nobody's home because everyone's working. So I just sit down on a tree stump, and I remember sitting there and going, okay, Mom's going to be fine with it. She thought I was gay at one point, so that'll be... Oh, and then I just started, genuinely, I really thought I was mad at myself. I was mad at myself for not knowing until this moment. To getting to the age of 31 without realizing, like, what is wrong? Like, the signs were there. Like, I love musical theater, and I sing high, and I used to dress up when I was a kid, and I was sitting there going like, I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Like, I deceived myself. I was furious. And that fury kind of subsided to, okay, I gotta deal with this. Like, I gotta know. And so I went inside, and I was like, I really need to check this. So I opened my computer, and I was like, I'm gonna look at some gay porn and just find out. Just find out if it does anything. And so I did, and it didn't. It didn't. I was like, yeah, okay, no, that's not, I don't think so, but like, let me try maybe. Like, I don't know. I was just like, I wanted to know because I was fucking convinced. I was convinced that I had lied to myself for this long. And so it was this really sad combination. So I actually opened up Facebook and I messaged a friend of mine who had also come out at the age of 30 or 31. I was like, dude, give me some tips. Like, what did you go through? Like, does this sound familiar? Like, I don't know. And then I was just kind of alone. And it was the day off, so like I just had nowhere to go with this information. And so I was like, you know what, you just need to sit with this, give yourself 24 hours, see how you feel tomorrow. And so I did, and I went through the day, and I didn't see him that night, thank goodness. But I woke up the next day, and I was like, oh, you were just really high. You were just really high. Like, that's what happened. I just got too high, But on top of that, it wasn't just that, oh, I'm not gay. It was like, that feeling was real. The feeling I had for that human being in that moment was genuine. And what that feeling was to me is love in its core nature. It's human love. It's love for being open, letting your guard down, and connecting with another human being. And he did the same. And yes, it took pot maybe to get there, but we connected, and I shared things about myself, and I wasn't in my head, and I was present. And I loved him in that moment. I was so afraid that I'd lied to myself, but instead, it was one of the times that I was most truthful.